We have another kind of loop, the name of that is while, that we can use to iterate our, for example, string or anything else. Let's have an example. The structure of while loop will be something like this. While, we should at first type while as a keyword, then our condition, and after that we can go through the block that we want to execute if the condition is true. So what's the difference here with the while and loop? I will go through the different later and we'll talk about that. But now, each time, it's better to say before each time that blocks of code here want to execute, this condition will be checked. Okay, if it's true, this condition, if it's true, it will go and run the blocks of the code here that we have in the while. If it's false, it won't execute them. Let's go and have an example. For example, let's assume that we have a variable counter equal to 1 while counter less than or equal to 5. I want to, for example, print counter, something like this. Okay, if I start this and run this block of code, as you can see, I'm blocked. It's something that print, and many prints that we have, and it just prints 1. Let me stop that. What's happening here? In the while loop, for example, if I want to have something like this, I should do, for example, counter plus 1. Increase a counter myself. But in the for, I shouldn't write this line of code. Let me run this at first. And as you can see, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's write this code with for loop. For I in range 5, print I. Okay, let me just comment out this while loop here and also fix the issue that we have. As you can see, again we can see the, if I want to see from 1 to 5, I can use something like this in the for loop. Okay, it's not necessary to increase the I ourselves. So it's not necessary to do something like this here, I equal to I plus 1. It's automatically handled by for loop. But in the while loop, we should handle that ourselves. And it's not something that is handled by the while. Okay, so we should handle that. Otherwise, we will go to infinite loop. It means it just executes some codes and will cause a memory leak or anything else in our website, application, or anything else. Okay, this line means I have the count. Let's talk about the line 4. What is this? I have the counter and value of that is 1. This line is saying, so please add 1 to counter. In this case, it will equal to 2. And store that value again to counter. So next time that you want to check the condition, counter will be 2. After that, it will go here, after print, it will go here and set that counter is 2 and plus 1 it will be 3, and it will assign to counter again, and when it want to check the condition, counter will be 3 right now. So this is something that we are increase amount of counter our variable by 1. We can write it like this or maybe like this: counter plus equal 1. It's exactly the same output as we have in line 4, we can use any of them that we want. If I print it out again, as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. Let's have another example. I want to write a timer here. Let me import time. It's some library that we can use. We don't need to install anything else. We can use this time library. And let me go. I want to have a countdown timer from, for example, let me have the variable at first. Count down from 10 to 0. Okay. I'm writing while countdown greater than 0. What I want to do? I want to just simply print this variable, I mean countdown, and after that I want to tell the Python that please stop and sleep for 1 second, because it's a countdown and I want to happen and decrease the amount of the countdown after 1 second. How can I handle that? Simply we can say time dot sleep, and in the parentheses we have 1. Okay, it means just please stop and sleep for 1 second, and after that I can say countdown, something like this, countdown -1, or maybe I can do it like this, countdown minus equal to 1. It's something that we can use, same as this line. Okay, and after that let me print something else. After the while completed, I'm printing time is up. Okay, let's go and let's see what will happen. Let me simply start that. As you can see in the terminal, we can see the countdown will comes from 10 to 1, and after that it says that time is up. Something that we can use, but please do these increase or decrease yourself when you are using while condition. If you don't do that, the value of countdown always will be 10 and it won't be changed, and we will face infinite loop. Okay, let's have another example. Let's assume that let me comment them. Let's assume that we have a total variable. The amount of that will be 0, and we have a number that amount of that is 1. I want to sum the numbers from 1 to 10 with this while loop. How we can handle that? Let me have while loop. While number is less or equal than 10, this total variable will be total plus number. Again, I can change this line to this, total plus equal number. It will the same approach and same output. And after that, I just want to increase the amount of the number plus equal to 1. And after this, while finish, I just simply print number as our output. Okay, so let me see what we have here. As you can see, it will goes here, and at first it will checking while number less than 10. Number is 1 now. Okay, so the condition will be true. It goes here in this line. Total is 0, so it will plus the total with number. Total is 0, number is 1. output 0 plus 1 will be 1, and it will assign the value of 1 to total. So total is right now, the amount of total is 1. And here in line 18, I'm telling, so please increase amount of number by 1. So number is 2 right now. It will go back to the while loop. So number is 2. It's checking again. Is number less than or equal to 10? 2 is less than or equal to 10. Yes, it's okay. So the condition is true. It goes here again. Total is 1 right now, and number is 2. 1 plus 1 plus 2 will be equal to 3. Okay, so it will assign the value of 3 to total, and after that it will go and increase number again by 1. It's something that's happening here. I want to handle and write factorial with the while and for loop to see the difference. What is factorial? I talked about that in the previous sections. For example, it's something that when I tell 5 factorial, it means please multiple 5 by 4 by 3 by 2 and by 1. It's something that we can have in the factorial function. So how we can handle this with while and write it with while and for? Let me start with while loop, or simply we can start with let me start with while. We have a variable with name factorial, and the amount of that will be 1. We have another variable number, amount of that will be 5. Okay, so let's go. I'm telling while number is greater than 0, because I should count down from the number to 1. So I should decrease the amount of the number, and each time I should multiply each of them together. Okay, let's go and let's see what will happen. Factorial will be, let me write it like this. Factorial, not plus, it should be multiplied by number. And after that, I should pay attention here. Number will be, I should decrease the amount of that by 1, something like this. And after all, I simply print the factorial. Okay. The output of this line will be something like this. 120. Okay. So what will happen if I want to handle this factorial with for loop? It's really simple. For I in range of, let me have the number again. Number equal to, for example, 5 again. For I in range of, we want to start with 1, not 0. So I should tell the for I want to start from 1, and after that you should go to number plus 1. Why plus 1? Why we have plus 1 here? As you can remember, if you, for example, write 5 here, it will go and print 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And we don't have 5 here. And I'm just increasing the value of number by 1 to contain the 5 for in this loop. Okay? And factorial will be, let me define some factorial variable again here. Factorial will be multiple, let me write something like this, factorial multiple by I, and again we can have it like this, factorial, and I have to write I here and simply multiple here, star here. Okay, it's really simple than the for while loop, because we don't need to increase or decrease our value and our variable. Simply after it finished, I can print out the factorial, and as an output, again we can see this amount. If I change this to 4, the output should be 4 multiplied by 3, by 2, and by 1. It can be 24, I think. Let me see. I'm not sure. Yes, it's 24. These codes have the same output, and if I do something like this, the output of the code will be same, but one of them is with the while loop and another one is with for loop. So please pay attention here. In the while loop, we have one important thing. If we are using some variable and we are checking in that in our condition, we should change the amount of that variable. Because if we don't do that, the condition that we have in the while always will be true, or maybe always will be false. Always will be true, and it will be infinite loop. We are using infinite loop in some situation, but not for this situation and for this use case. That I will talk about the infinite loop later. So just please pay attention to this line for all the while loops that you are writing.